Right now, the location that we're in, this 19th Street Flatiron location, this is their only hardcore location. Everything else is like super fancy. Financial District, Midtown, those locations are like pretty cute.
Right, yeah.
This one has been here since 1980. Everything is very rust and antique looking.
Yeah.
And a lot of this equipment they don't make anymore.
Okay.
It doesn't even exist in traditional health club settings. Even trainers hire trainers.
That's it to get better.
Of course. Yeah. How do you get better? You find someone that's better than you. Right?
Yeah. Hector, thanks a lot, man, for joining us today. This is our third episode of Longshots, and our last episode was with an old friend of mine, Matt Catalano, and he had let me know. He told me a little bit about, what you were doing, and instantly I told him I had to meet you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're super grateful. And your message of what you're doing, helping guys once they get out of incarceration, men and women, aligns with what we're doing here. One, I know that you were incarcerated for some time, so you at one point had to make that leap of saying, I'm not doing this anymore with my life and I'm changing my life. And two, you wanted to give back.
It's exhausting, doing wrong. Everybody that's doing wrong consciously knows that they're doing wrong, right? Like, in your heart, people gravitate towards survival in many forms. It puts a damp on your soul, so you got to go through any means of survival, end up making it out of that dark space.
When you were in that dark space, was it when you were in prison, or was it like, kind of like when you were going through the whole process? When was that moment when you were like, I'm not coming back to this place, and once I get out of here, that's it?
Well, my dark place started in the street. My dark place ain't started in prison. Far before prison. Motherfuckers was getting, like, seriously though, like 6th grade, on your way to school, dudes was getting shot. So I would probably say 10 years prior to me even going to prison, things were starting to turn. I was like probably about 13, 12-ish when I started experimenting, hanging out. My parents were, at that time, my dad already passed away. You go through these rebellious stages where you don't really give a fuck about too much.
Right.
Because you're hurt, really. Mm-hmm. You only don't care because you feel like you're at a loss emotionally. Mm-hmm. You don't feed yourself anything positive. You're drawn to like a dark space because of how you feel and what you're going through.
Those are quick, easy emotions.
Very easy. And there's a lot of trigger moments I had as a young adult growing up. I always tell people, like, people be moving here now. Motherfuckers be moving to this city. I don't care what part of the city of New York, 5 boroughs you moved to. In the past 10 years, it's nothing. You can't even imagine what this place was like. Me being a native and me and the guys and my family, we talk about it all the time. This shit was like Gotham. Like, that's why they called it the Rotten Apple back in the days.
Right.
Why didn't they call it the Big Apple? No, the nickname was the Rotten Apple.
Right.
For a lot of reasons.
Right.
We still don't have a justice system. Or like, dude, I can't even tell you. I can't come up with a percentage on how many cops were gangsters. Like, they were straight gangsters. They'll let you go if you bring them a gun. If they caught you with a bunch of dope, they'll say, I'll let you go. Go bring me a pistol. They'll hold something, whatever you have, whether it's a friend of yours or something, while you go run upstairs, go get a gun, bring it back downstairs. They'll throw that shit in the trunk and then let you go with your drugs. Like, it was just like a trade war out here. It was like very, very dark. Everything to me, growing up, was weird. Manhattan was ridiculous, dude.
Right.
Midtown ain't look the way it looks now.
Right.
Like, yo, it was just every borough, even Manhattan, dark, bro. And that's what I grew up in. Everybody was getting high. Crack came out, man. There was just a lot of sick people, I would say.
Right.
People always want to say, oh, he's a criminal, she's a criminal, or he's a drug addict, she's a drug addict. Nah, they're sick. That's not who they are. They're just fucking sick.
True.
And then, you know where the violence comes from? You don't know how to react because a motherfucker just stole your TV. You don't know what crack is doing or heroin is doing to this person.
Right.
Or coke is doing to this person to make them react in a certain way. So how do people react to the madness of what's going on in their neighborhoods? Instinctually, with with violence, with force.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not understanding that this person is going through something.
Yeah.
That this person actually needs help, not to get their head cracked open.
Right. Right.
So when I was growing up, there was a lot of confusion. A lot of us in our communities didn't know why people that were on drugs, or people that even as I got older that was selling drugs, we were all just people going through sick, ill emotions, man. That was just like, you're like pawned off to the society of illness and crime and no love. I saw people going in and out of prison my whole life. Like I said, 6th grade. I'm like, damn, friends is getting shot in 6th grade? By the time I got to high school, forget it. Forget it. I had friends that were straight. You would have thought they were serial killers. How many bodies they had. But these were just lost youth. They were lost, man. Public school system in New York, especially in the hood, horrible.
Just a pathway to prison.
Oh, man. You know the pipeline. That's the pipeline. They call it the public school to prison pipeline. That's like a real thing.
Really?
Yeah, that's a real thing. You can Google that. There's books, studies, and documentaries and plays on it, you know. And granted, that I'm not sure about how prevalent that is now,
right?
But it was in full effect when I was growing up.
So it was easy for you to take to that life, obviously.
Yeah. Like, what else are you going to do?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you escape? All right, you could go to school in a nice neighborhood. You could live in a nice neighborhood. How are you getting there?
Right.
How many people really leave their neighborhoods that are poor? Not many. Where you going? If you do take a train ride or bus ride out, who's going to help you? Who do you know anywhere else? Well, at least back then. I can't speak on that now. I don't live in the hood no more. But you only saw certain professions. Prostitution. You saw cops. You saw drug dealers. That's it. Like, you don't really see much.
You become victim of that pipeline, right?
100%.
You unfortunately go to the incarcerated part of it. You end up as a young man, right?
I turned 23 in the county.
Okay, 23 in the county.
Probably got indicted towards the end of my age of 22, going on 23.
Okay, and then you were sentenced to federal prison, correct?
Yeah, the FBI indicted me in the Middle District of Pennsylvania, and sentenced me to 10 years to life for distribution charges.
So you go to prison, which you are familiar with, right? Because the guys that you grew up with, people that you grew up with, that's the way of life.
You're not familiar with it, but you don't have no fear because you know people that are in and out in your community.
Right.
So you're not totally familiar, but you're definitely not really that scared of it. It's like a cycle. If this person came home, survived it, was fine, came home in shape, you don't really care about the consequences.
Right.
You know? You hear stories, though, you know, but you're like, whatever. It beats being broke.
There was a moment, though, where you were like, I'm done with this type of lifestyle.
It took some years for me to reach that moment. I probably ain't wake up until my last 3 years.
Isn't that where some of these business ideas were born out of?
Yeah.
Right. Because I know you had mentioned that one of your boys in there was kind of like, oh, you're getting a little out of shape, and you started working out.
Oh yeah, that was early in my bid. That was early on in my bid.
Okay.
That was like my third year in,
Okay.
and that's when I took my health seriously. I started working out, but the planning and everything really came out of like me seeing dudes in and out of. While I was still in there, I would see people go home and get sent back, and I didn't even get home yet.
So you get out, and you have these ideas, right? It wasn't becoming a trainer at first, right? It was you got a T-shirt company
When I had like a couple years left, I put together a business plan to start a T-shirt company and a van service, a transportation service.
Okay.
A friend of mine named Corey Leftwich, he laughed at me and stuff. He was like, "Yeah, you tripping." He had 30 years, and he was like, "You've been working out all these years in here and training people in here, and you're not gonna go fucking be a trader?" He was like, "That don't make any sense." And that's when the light bulb went off.
It's funny, like once we kind of go to those places that we really love, and we're like, oh wow, like we could really birth something out of that.
Yeah, totally, man. I mean, I didn't even notice I could be a trainer. I didn't, and I was training people already. I had clients in prison, so that was so bizarre that I couldn't even make that connection.
Yeah. I mean, once you decide to become a trainer, you get out?
I got certified inside, so
Okay.
I was able to pay for a correspondence course. Did about 3 months, 4 months of studying, hard body. Passed my national proctor exam and got my certification. And was just making plans, was really excited to come home. And even my friend Corey, he was like, "Man, you got to go to Manhattan." He was like, "That's where the money's at. You got to go to Manhattan, you got to become a trainer, and you got to tear that shit up." And that fueled me. And that excitement and accomplishment, even having my certification, mixed with my hurt of seeing all these lives coming in and out of prison, is when I started like developing a plan and saying, I'm gonna kick the shit out of wellness industry when I get home back to New York City.
Right. And now and coupling that with like getting guys, men and women, reacclimated to society, that's always been a part of it?
Yes, but I just didn't know how to formulate it.
Okay.
Wanted to always give back. Always was giving though. I was always giving, even when I was hustling. I always took care of people. That's always been me. I just didn't know how to formulate this program when coming out of prison. But I would say probably my second year home is when I started like putting things into action.
Doing some research on you, I saw that you were talking with some professors from Columbia University.
We have friends there, people that we just network and stuff.
Okay.
David Phillips.
David Phillips is the guy, right? So,
yeah.
And he had said, a quote like, "You have something greater that is driving you," and I'm just like, curious what he was alluding to.
We used to go do stuff and speak at some of their kids up there.
Yeah.
I feel like there's always something greater. I always feel like that. Like I'm already thinking about, we need to raise money for the second U location. We need to raise money for the second U actual wellness reentry center upstate in Hudson on a farm. So I don't know. I think there's always something greater.
Okay.
Innovation is everything, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What is one trait about yourself that you've committed to developing that you could attribute most to your success?
Bringing people together, bridging communities, and meeting as many contacts as possible is probably one of my strongest qualities that that keeps our organization moving forward. Bridging communities being number one.
When you say bridging communities, like what communities? Like, are you talking
Man, I mean, formerly incarcerated people,
about?
our clients that do personal training with us, throwing networking events, down to catching up with the people that you care about most. I mean, we're very active when it comes to anyone and everyone who's crossed paths with us. We work with at-risk youth. We sponsor after-school programs for high schools in the hood. Morris Academy in the South Bronx, stuff like that. So I think, so there's so many ways that we are actually active in bridging communities and getting people together and getting people to understand that our team that's born and raised in this city have survived death and did time in this city. We have no problem giving back. We do that literally just as much as we do training.
That training, we kind of briefly talked about it out there. If you could just kind of talk about a little bit about that program, the process, and is there a message really that you drive home to these? Because I know that you have a 0% repeat offender.
We bring dudes into this program or women into this program, they're never going to want to leave if they're qualified to be a personal trainer. We have a loving community, not only just us that are formerly incarcerated, but also our clients and other professionals throughout New York City. Our family members take them in. Our friends take them in. So, business owners throughout the area welcomes them whenever they walk through the doors in any of these establishments out here. So, and it's a career, so they get full on benefits, just like any corporate employee, as well as they start at $35 an hour and top out at $100 an hour. So, why would you go back to prison? Right?
Right.
With all that having access to, nobody's going back.
Right.
Yeah, you get to stay healthy. You get to
Right.
stay in shape.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a very driven atmosphere. Mm-hmm. People come into the health clubs and gyms to feel pumped, right?
Right.
Looking for motivation.
Yeah.
Feeding off of each other's energy.
Right.
This is like a win.
Totally.
This shit is a win.
Miracle.
It's
Absolutely.
literally a miracle.
For real. It really is. 2015, you guys opened, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
4.5 years in.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So,
196 trainers employed.
very cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything big on tap for this year that you're looking to launch, and anything that in the future that you kind of want to share with us?
Got some cool projects. The Second Chances Matter podcast dropping this year. We're trying to raise money for the Second U location, which we'll run the program out of. And the launch and private screening of our first independent film, short film.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Pumped, man. Very amped right now about that.
You should be.
It's powerful work, too.
Yeah.
So, and as far as our program, Second Use program is 6 weeks long. It's a collaboration of a lot of book work, a lot of our curriculum, and a national certification curriculum, Microsoft software training, and actual hands-on training and programming with actual clients. 6 weeks long, Monday through Saturday. Monday through Friday it's 1 to 3 p.m. Saturday is from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And at the end of those 6 weeks, they take their national exams, CPR, and they start their interview process at all corporate health clubs throughout Manhattan.
In a few words, how would you want to be characterized?
We're the hope. A Second U, and everybody that's come through it, every supporter, every client, every staff member, every graduate. We all, only thing Second U does is, and what we want to be known as a family that provides hope for underserved communities.
Where can everybody find you, and what can they do for the foundation?
A Second You Foundation on IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. A secondyouffoundation.org is our website. And you can donate through on the website, Venmo or text.
Okay.
And we are looking for volunteers, help with admin, and fundraising.
Okay. Well, this has been a great experience, man. Talking with you, meeting with you, like, this is talking with guys like you. This is what we're trying to do here. And Carmine and I were really, like I said, pumped about meeting you, and we're looking forward to being friends.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for you guys having me.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate you both.
All right, cool, man.
All
Thanks,
right,
brother.
All right, brother.